Welcome back to Issues and Answers. As promised, we're going to be talking with a representative of the Charleston Tea Party. As you know, this organization is nationwide, but there are various chapters in various parts of the country, and he was willing to come on and talk with me about the Tea Party and how it operates and some of the things that they consider to be of value to them, and they want to encourage us to probably think the same way. I'm not sure, but we'll find out before this is over. His name is Joseph Kurt. Welcome.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on.
I didn't know I was going to get such a young man. I thought they were going to send me one
I'm
of
sorry to
those old
disappoint.
heads.
Yeah. Next time we'll
That's
send a 70-year-old man in a tri-corner hat,
Okay.
and then I'll just feed him the answers, and
then-
he can
okay.
tell you, and it'll look
be
more
me
like,
and
yeah,
him,
absolutely.
believe me.
No, that's
I
fine.
thought they'd give me somebody, I don't mind boxing.
We can box. That's fine. I don't have a problem with a heated argument, but
How long have you been in the Tea Party?
I've been active in the Tea Party for about a year now. I've been a member for about 2 years. I went to a rally in 2009, and I wanted to see what the Tea Party was about, and I wanted to see if they were in line with my conservative values, and the people I met have been wonderful, and specifically the 13 members of the board of the Charleston Tea Party have been very kind to me, and so I've been active for about a
Now,
year.
what were you politically before you were Tea Party?
I was pretty conservative.
Were you a Republican?
Yes, I was a Republican from right about the time I joined the service. When I started looking at politics, I wasn't very active in it throughout my time in the military because obviously I was focused on doing my job in the service. But as I became more and more interested in politics right around 2006, I started to realize that I was pretty Republican and pretty conservative, and I was looking to hear voices like that expressed, and looking to seek people who had similar ideals.
Were your family members Republicans? Did you grow up in a home like that?
My mother is. My father is an independent, and when I say independent, I mean he's a true independent. He was a big supporter. He wanted to see Joe Biden win the Democratic primary in 2008. And then my grandfather on his side actually sat on a friend's shoulders during the inauguration of FDR. So we have Democrats and Republicans in my family.
You've used the word conservative twice. What is that?
Conservative is somebody who believes in limiting the government's power as much as possible, because whenever government takes more power, it inversely affects the liberty of the people. So if government is going to guarantee you something, if it's going to be the guarantor of rights, it's going to need some more of your individual liberty and sovereignty to do that. So a conservative...
Are you for low government or no government?
Low government. No government is an anarchist kind of thing and a more libertarian kind of thing. We actually, conservatives, the irony is we love our federal government, but we want to see what it was meant to do, and we want to see it do what it's supposed to do in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence.
Do you think we're teetering on the social side, becoming socialist?
Yes.
Or socialism in this country?
Yes, we are, and the reason I say that is because socialism has been demonized as a terminology. Socialism is an ideology, and socialism, as we move more and more towards a government-involved, centrally planned economy, we have become more socialist. And
are you afraid of that?
I am, but I'm afraid of that not because I think it's going to be like violence and biblical end of the world stuff. I'm afraid of that because America is founded on the liberty of free people.
And now socialists share.
Socialists
they want to help each other.
Conservatives want to help each other too. It's not and the misnomer is socialists say we're all in this together, and conservatives say I'm in this with who I want to be in this with. I'm not stuck on, giving out this much and handing out this much and making sure everybody gets their fair shake, because then somebody has to take care of that. There has to be somebody to step in and say, this is how much you deserve and how much you deserve. And America became great because we said, you go out and get what you can. And you go out and earn what you can. And then we will try to take as little as possible and run this federal government and our military and our social programs on that. And we'll let you continue to earn and support yourselves.
Well, you know that this issue of Medicare and Social Security has been a hot button
Absolutely.
number. And there are some who say, I will wring your little neck if you take away Medicare. And I know I'm one of them because I'm in that age group.
Absolutely.
So what is the deal with the Tea Party and Medicare and this idea of taking away Social Security or limiting it?
Well, you got to go back to the beginning on that and say, what are the promises we can make to the American people with the amount of revenue we have? When we look at Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and we look at the national debt that we're running a massive, massive debt to fund these programs.
Well, who in the world isn't?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's running, I mean, it's
the
obviously...
whole world's running a deficit right now.
Exactly, but
so we're no different.
But the world is, fundamentally, there are more centrally planned economies than free economies companies like we have. And we did not run this level of debt for a long time in our society. But as we build up these programs and say, all right, well, we have to run this bureaucracy and this bureaucracy and this entitlement and this entitlement and this entitlement, next thing you know, we're taking everyone's money. And we're, the private sector, the people, our work, our daily paycheck that we work for and earn is gone. And it's not gone for the prosperity, because there's a saying that the people, democracy will end when people find out they can vote themselves money from the Treasury.
But you can't pull the rug from under people
No,
and just take
and
everything all at once.
nobody's saying
And there
that.
are some in the United States, there is, sir, yes there is. There are some people in the United States Congress who are saying, we need to cut Medicare, we need to cut Social Security, and I mean give it a real good hit.
Well, yeah.
And you can't do that all at once. People and generations after me are going to need that same money.
The proposed
They're putting their
plan-
money into it now.
The plan that passed the House, though, the Paul Ryan budget, that only has a cut for people who are 10 years away from receiving any Social Security benefits. And Medicare and Medicaid need to be reformed to keep them solvent. I mean, we are going to literally, we're borrowing the money to pay the checks right now. I mean, we have revenue coming into the government every month, but we are borrowing so much money as a nation
From China,
from
places
everywhere,
like
from,
that.
from ourselves, basically. We're monetizing our own debt. And when you get into that scenario, we have to say, all right, look, we have to streamline our military spending. We have to streamline our Medicare, Medicaid spending. And when I say streamline, I don't mean just hack away at it. We've got to figure out,
Well, that's the
is
way
there
it
abuse?
sounds. Is
Sure.
your party aware that it's coming across like
Yes,
that?
we are. And it's,
does that bother you?
It does and it doesn't. A lot of people, there's plenty of people out there, like you said, who are for just absolutely straight away cutting and starting to make, you know, hacksaw cuts. But there's plenty of intelligence in our side, in our party and in our movement. People like Tim Scott, Eric Cantor, Paul Ryan. These guys are very fiscally sound individuals, and they're saying, look, this is what has to be done. And if you're honest with people, it's easier for them to take that. It's
How are people in the Republican Party, just Republican Party, in Congress, I guess I'm talking about those folks too,
yes.
and those in the Tea Party, how do y'all differ?
Okay, there are some Republicans who, and the notion is that it's their turn. They're going to take this massive federal bureaucracy that we have, and they're going to run it. And they're
Now,
going to.
which one is that?
This is the traditional Republican ideology that government should be limited, but you know, if we put a program in there, let's do our best to keep it or save it, or let's renegotiate its terms and things like that. And that's kind of the opinion of what we call the established Republicans. And that's kind of been an older style opinion when government was, in the opinion of most people, a little more benevolent than it is right now.
Well, you would like to get rid of those people, wouldn't you?
Ideologically, I wouldn't say get rid of them. Ideologically, we'd like to convert them.
But you would rather have the Tea Party types.
I would rather have more conservative politicians
And that's what we
representing,
want
yes.
to find out. I want you to define that Tea
Sure.
Party group and how it differs from the conservative Republican Party, and we'll do that right after the break.
Excellent.
We'll be right back, and we'll talk about that in a moment.